Hello my sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a reading vlog of It by Stephen King. I have never read it, I've never seen it, I know nothing about it. Well, I didn't know anything about it because at this point I've already read it. There will be spoilers in this video. I'm going to be talking about it, so if you don't want spoilers for It by Stephen King, don't watch this video, both the book or the movie, because I read the book and then I also watched the movie. So I did not know anything about it before watching this. I knew it was a clown, Pennywise the clown, and it could change into things that you were afraid of. But other than that, I didn't really know much about the book or the movies. I had gone, fun fact, Gavin and I had gone to go watch the first It movie when it first came out in the theaters. I'm a big baby. I get scared very easily. I don't like horror, I don't like scary things, I don't like jump scares, I don't like being scared. So we went to see the first It. I was also just very anxious that day, and about 30 minutes in I started crying because I was scared and anxious and we had to leave. So since then, Gavin has seen both of the movies. I have not. Well, I had not seen them or read the book or anything. I really didn't know anything about it. I did know I had heard about some scene at the end that was not cool, kind of sketchy, but that's pretty much all I knew. Didn't know anything, going into this very blind. So I thought it would be kind of fun to vlog my experience reading this book because it's almost Halloween and it's spooky time and I wanted to do something kind of spooky, so we're reading It. This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun filming this, especially because I've never done a reading vlog before. So I hope y'all like it. This took me maybe 2 weeks to read, possibly. And I probably read about an hour every day, maybe about 50 to 100 pages every day, because I usually only read before bed. But I had a lot of fun with it. It was a good time, and I hope y'all enjoy. We're just gonna go right on into it. So enjoy! Do y'all see how stinking messy my nightstand is? Why do I have so many books over here? I'm using a book as another bookmark for a different book. Well, hello there. This is a much more intimate experience than we get in my other videos, but today's the first day of trying to read It by Stephen King. I am all cozied up in bed because I usually read whenever I am getting ready for bed. So I am showered, my skincare is on, my glasses are on, I got my retainer in. So I feel like I am part of the small portion of people who still have never read It, and I've never seen the movies, I've never seen any of them. Another thing is I don't really read horror. I don't really consume any scary media because I don't like scary things. I have read Stephen King's Misery, and that one was good. I liked it. It wasn't really scary. My thing is I don't like jump scares, I don't like in-your-face scary, but when it comes to like gore or like disturbing things, I am not scared of that. I know it's like a group of kids, I think some of the Loser Club or something like that, I don't know. For some reason I have a lot of so on Tumblr, a lot of people ship two of these kids who, I don't know, apparently they're gay or something. I hope they are, but I know there's a group of kids, and there's the clown. It's basically them trying to stop a clown, I think. And apparently there's something a little sketchy that goes on at the end. I have heard of what it is. I'm not gonna like talk about it, but that's basically all I know about It. Yeah, Eddie and Richie, I think. So many people on my dash on Tumblr. I don't know anything about It, but for some reason a lot of the blogs I follow, I always stumble upon tags of people shipping them. Okay, does anyone else just take the covers off of books when they have these to read? Because I can't read with them, like, because especially when I'm laying in bed, I feel like it just gets in the way, so I always take those off. So I just finished chapter 1. It's written really well. I like Stephen King's writing, so I'm used to his writing. He's really good at writing, at least in this first chapter, writing from the perspective of a child. Like when he was describing like the monster in the basement near the beginning, he really captured the feeling, like that fear that you feel as a child, like when you run up the stairs really fast, or I mean I still do that. But hello again. It is 2 days later and I am coming to you live from my bed once again. So I finished like the first section yesterday, almost this whole part 1. I finished this part and then I'm about to start this interlude part. So I am 143 pages in so far. It's roughly, I want to say like 1,200, I think. I wasn't sure how long this would take me since I have read, you know, I've read books much shorter than this and it'll take me, you know, a week or two. And then I read like Under the Dome and 11/22/63, which are also huge Stephen King books. And like 11/22/63 I finished in like 3 days. So I'm really liking it so far. It's obviously been a lot of, you know, how Stephen King writes. There's a lot of information, a lot of people, lots of names. Where I am right now, I've been introduced to all of the kids as adults. They just got the phone call from Mike, I think it was. The chapter or section or person that I have found the most intriguing was Bev, not just because she's the only woman, but her introduction chapter. We're looking at her husband, who is an abusive piece of shit. I was so angry reading the chapter about Bev because her husband is the worst person I've ever read about. It kind of scared me how well King can write him. I also really like that we met all of them through the eyes of a character, like a side character, like a character who is close to them, who we'll probably never hear about in this book again. I'm excited about seeing Derry and having them reunite. Again, I've just been introduced to them, but I feel like, because again, he writes so much background, there's so much information that he really fleshes out, like, and he doesn't need to go this in depth in detail, but he does, and so I feel like I really know these characters. I have found myself, and I sometimes find myself doing this in Stephen King's books, where I feel like it drags on just a little bit, and I met all the characters and I was like, yes, we're going to a next chapter or like next section, part, whatever, and I was so excited to like I want to get into the story and I want to like see what was happening with the clown and all this stuff. And now this next section is like supposed to be an interlude segment, which are supposedly written by, which one is it? Mike, the writer. And I'm like, I just want to get into the story. So I just finished reading chapter 8. We've gotten to know all the characters except Mike. I don't know what the deal is with Mike. I feel like I still have not had a chapter with him. I'm really enjoying it so far. There's, you know, like creepy writing, I guess, like they're creepy scenes, but I'm not scared really. I don't know if it's just because it's the medium, you know, books are a little less scary in my opinion than movies, but it's fun though. I'm enjoying it. I feel these kids, I love them. I feel for them and I want them to succeed. I'm rooting for them. I love them. Richie and Eddie, oh my god. I hope to god they get together. I know this was like the 80s, but good lord. Richie flirting with Eddie. I see it now. I get it. I feel like we're still getting into it though. I am this far into it. I'm on page 392. It's kind of a slow introduction, but I find myself wondering when like actual things start to happen, like when they're actually gonna do something about it, I guess. Each character is different and unique, and I really like it, and there's parts of all of them that I can really relate to and like empathize with, and so I'm just so excited. I didn't know if I would like these characters as much as I do. I'm very excited to read more about Derry. Derry feels so weird too. The way he explains and writes about Derry is so exciting. It really, like, I love it. We are now this far. I think I have about 200 pages left. Wait, where's my phone? I need my notes. I've been reading consistently still, but I haven't actually filmed anything. So I've written down some notes to talk about as we've been going along. So I was taking a few notes just as I read about what I was seeing that I wanted to mention next time I was filming something. So I'm just gonna start kind of reading some stuff and we will elaborate on them as we see fit. But we finally got to see Mike join the gang. I was kind of, I don't know, Mike doesn't, I know he's part of the gang, but he did not, I feel like he didn't join. He didn't really get any scenes with anyone until like later than halfway into the book. And so that was kind of weird because I knew he was like, as an adult, he called them, you know, he was narrating stuff. But I'm glad we're finally seeing him as a kid interacting with everyone. Again, it feels kind of like Stan and Mike are not even real, they feel like secondary characters in their little club. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. It feels like Bill, Eddie, and Richie, and also Ben are kind of like the core of this group. And then there's Bev, she's also kind of in there. And then Stan and Mike are like the outer ring. That's how it feels in my head. Just, I don't know why, but oh yeah, this weird scene between Patrick and Henry, which I hated that so much. Yeah, Patrick is super weird. It was, he was a fun guy. His thing with killing the animals by putting them in the fridge was like one of the first times I felt truly like disgusted with someone in this book. Like I said, I haven't really been scared in this story, and I still haven't really been, but his thing with the animals, I was like, whoa, that's not really cool. And also his death, Patrick's death with the leeches, that was a really cool death. Like that part was really cool to read and it was interesting, and I think that's been my favorite death so far. That sounds really weird, but I think that it was the scariest so far. The turtle, still have no clue what the turtle is or the turtle's voice or anything like that. I need more Richie and Eddie content. I wrote that down. I feel for Stan, he's a sweet kid. Yeah, Stan is super sweet, and I feel really bad for him because he kept trying to, like, I don't know, he doesn't want to be there, he wants to back out and stuff, and then seeing him as an adult, I don't know, I feel bad for him. I love Beverly's quiet confidence, true, I love her. Interesting narration style and flipping between past and present, but sometimes gets confusing or I'm not sure whose point of view it is. Yes, I really do like how it has been doing that, where it's like it'll be past and it'll go to present like in the middle of the sentence, because I think that is super cool and I really like that. But there have been a few times where I'm like, I can't tell whose point of view we're in the first few paragraphs, and I have to kind of like reread to see what's going on. Random scene of Henry in the present escaping the ward with the help of it, but it's been a while and there's been no other mention. I got to that last night actually, when he came back. So I wish we had seen more of that kind of interspersed in there, because I completely forgot about Henry as an adult in the mental ward, getting out with it and all that stuff. So obviously there's something with it and Henry like doing some stuff together, but that sounded weirder than it needed to be. But like, you know what I mean, they're in cahoots. But I saw that last night where he came and confronted Mike. Anytime there has been like a confrontation with it, the only times they have gotten through it or like beaten it in a way was like the power of them and like their identity or something, like Stand with the Birds, or you know, when they laugh with each other and it's a scary part and they're not supposed to be laughing or having a good time and they're like, oh, we can feel it waver or something like that. So I think that's kind of interesting, and so I don't really know what the deal is with that, or how, I don't know. I know that obviously plays a part, but I don't know, it's interesting. And also with the scene where they're fighting it with the silver slugs and Bev runs out of ammo, but they all like cheered her on and pretended that she did, and they defeated it in that scene in that way because they all believed that she had more ammo or something like that. So I see how the thing with like believing and like the power of children or something it started to get a lot more sexual, and I'm not really a fan of it, and it's making me more worried because, again, like I said near the beginning, I have just heard about what happens at the end, but it's all like people, you know, oh, guess what happens at the end of it. I don't know if I had really necessarily believed it would happen in that exact way. I don't know. I just hear this thing and I don't want to like try to say it or talk about it because it's weird, but it's getting a lot more sexual and now I'm scared it actually is gonna just be that. So, especially because last night, I think it was last night or the night before, I got to the part where in the future, or I guess present, Bill and Bev get it on, and Bev's like, she like remembers, and then I put the bookmark in. I was like, okay, we're gonna take a break. I feel like some scenes, particularly those in which present Mike is narrating a long story, are so long and over detailed, and I get that it contributes in a way to the story of it, but at the same time I feel like they are almost pointless, or at least do not need to be that long. The one time I've gotten bored in this book was in all the exposition leading up to the actual fire in Mike's story of the fire at the black spot. His other story about the thing in 1905 was also boring, at least at first. The one interesting one that I enjoyed was the story about the Bradley gang, although when I think about it now, I still am having trouble trying to remember what it had to do with it. So any of the scenes where Mike is narrating something in Derry's history, and I get that it's important to like it and how it's been around for so long, it's so stinking long and I get so bored, and I don't normally get bored in books, but the only times I've been bored in this book were in all that long narration leading up to these events, because I feel like there's so much information that doesn't really need to be in there, but I also know it like helps make it feel more real, but at the same time even the real world has boring parts and I don't think they need to be in there. Okay, so the first scenes that I felt were actually very disturbing, I guess. I could feel the disturbingness, besides Patrick and his whole thing, was when Bev was running from it in her father's body. That whole scene with her running from her dad, pretty gruesome. And as well as Mike and Henry in the confrontation in the library, those scenes I actually felt a lot of like suspense, and I felt the rush, and I felt like I was, you know, I felt the disturbingness of it all. I feel like it was like the first time I could actually feel like the fear of like Pennywise, which I still am trying to figure out what the heck it is, because they had a whole like smoke vision scene thing, and it's, you know, they're at the beginning of time and all this stuff, so I'm like, is it supernatural? Is it an alien thing? I know it's not a man. I know it's not like a human person. I hope it's a real thing. I'm scared it's gonna be some sort of like a figment of your imagination, or some like, you just have to believe. I want it to be a real thing in a way, I guess. I don't want it to be some analogy for like kid brain or something. To be honest, I don't care much for Bill and Beverly. I don't know, I get it, they have little crushes on each other. Honestly, I think Ben having a crush on Bev is way cuter, but I don't know, Bill and why are there so many B names? Bill and Beverly they feel kind of weird to me. I don't know. I don't care much for them, and I definitely don't like it when they got together as adults, because well, at least Bill is happily married, and I don't condone cheating, so. And then I wrote, it's getting so much more sexual in the child sense and I don't like it. It wouldn't be a big deal if this is a story about adults, but they are literal children and I am just not liking where this is going. As I have said, I feel like it's actually gonna be what I thought it was and I don't want it to be that. I was kind of hoping it was gonna be some analogy for something, but I think it's gonna be a literal children. I'm not. Anyway, these are my thoughts so far, and considering how much I have left, I'm either gonna finish this tonight or tomorrow, and so I'm very excited to finish it. I'm really enjoying it though. I'm a big fan of it so far. Oh, I was about to cuss and I can't.
Have that be the intro.
I don't like this at all. I'm crying. I needed Richie and Eddie, and then he died in his arms. I didn't know people were gonna die. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I didn't know they were gonna die. I'm just so upset. Also, I'm really stinking confused about this chapter. This chapter is the most confusing thing I've ever read. I don't know what's going on. I still don't know what the turtle is. I am so confused about what's happening. They're biting each other's tongues or something, and I can't tell if it's literal or metaphorical. Okay, I'm not done. Eddie just died. It's fine. He was like one of my favorite ones, but it's fine. This chapter is called Love and Desire.
I think I know what it's about.
They were so blunt about it.
Alright, you can stop with that. No,
they're children. They're 11
Xbox is going to record this party chat, and Jordan and I are going to...
What was the point of that? It's just a whole chapter.
I don't need to
in
know.
detail telling me about this. I still don't understand how that is supposed to solve any issues. They just go right back to being normal right after that. Like, that wasn't the weirdest thing they've ever experienced. Yeah. And it was already done. They had already had the final showdown. They had already done the fight. And they're like, it's dead, it's running away. And then they leave the room. And that's it. They were on their way back and she was like, stop for a second. Stephen King, this book is gratefully dedicated to my children.
Ooh. You want to do the special assignment Rajang or the two furious Rajangs?
Alright. I have like 50 pages left. So we're gonna finish this tonight. And then we'll watch the movie.
Alright.
And hope that that's not in there. I just finished it. And I'm crying a lot, if you can't tell. Oh, my thoughts are like all over the place right now. Very good. Oh, I just love a good final ending. It doesn't even have to be a good or happy ending. Just the feeling of like finality. Oh, it gets me every time. Especially when it's about like your childhood and like memories and nostalgia, because I am such a sucker for nostalgia. And like they were already starting to forget. And I couldn't like remember their names or like about them. I don't know why I'm crying this much. I didn't think it would get me this bad. Anyway, Gavin and I are actually gonna watch the movie tonight, at least the first one. We're gonna try to get through it because I know I've told this story before, but I couldn't even finish the first one because it scared me. But I have so many thoughts. Okay, we're gonna probably watch that, and then probably tomorrow I'll be filming like the final clip of this. But anyway, I'm gonna go cry some more on the toilet because that's where I always cry. Hello everybody. It is the next day. Yes, I cut my hair literally today. So the cover's back on it, so it actually looks like it. I finished this book. Overall, very good book. Probably give it 4 out of 5 stars, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Hello everyone, it is future editing me, editing this video right now. I wanted to clarify, since it's been about a week since I filmed this last part, and my final rating is a 3.5 out of 5 stars, so I did bump it down a little bit, but I'm gonna explain why in a second. But yeah, final rating 3.5 out of 5. But I enjoyed it, I really did. I liked the characters a lot. I didn't think that I had grown so attached to the characters until the end when Eddie died. King is so good at using detail to really like make everything feel real and just all encompassing. It was so vivid and detailed, and I really liked that. Again, very few parts. It felt like it was a little unnecessary, a little drawn out a little bit. Got a little bored during those parts, but overall loved it. I think it fit really well. I know I had said it at the beginning, so Richie and Eddie, I am all on that train now. I feel you, I get it, and I know I had said, oh, like I thought it would just be crumbs, but here we are getting this whole, you know, because Richie called him cute, and I was like, that was more than I even expected to have. But that was it. That was it. I didn't get any Richie and Eddie, and I'm so upset about that. Was not scary. I guess I was expecting to be more scared. I was expecting more scariness, because I know, and I said it, horror books, I feel like, obviously one, not as scary as movies, because movies is like all up in your face, and I don't like that. But a good like suspense thriller, that can be scary. There's creepypastas, those are really scary. So I guess I was expecting more of the scary aspect of it, but it felt less like a horror book and more like, I guess, a coming of age story, and I know that's essentially what it is, but it didn't quite feel like horror, and I'm fine with that. They are children, so the monsters and all that, it felt juvenile, but I think like in a good way. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what he was going for. I think it went really well, but it didn't really like scare me. I wasn't like, oh my god, I don't want to keep reading, or like I read it before bed every night. I did not care. I was not scared. Again, completely fine. Children, they're children. That scene, I thought it was gonna be an analogy for like growing up or something. Didn't know it was gonna be a real, physical, literal scene. Upset. I'm upset. Ooh. I don't understand why it was there, because they had beat it. Obviously it's children, so it came back, but it had run away. They were like, it's dead, we're done. They left the room that the big fight happened in. It was done, it was gone. Next room. They're like, what do we do? We need to get out of here. Beverly's like, I know what to do. Zoop. No! Why? It was so unnecessary. It was already done. It was well written, I guess. It didn't feel like it needed to be there though. It just kind of felt like, here's this scene for you. And I was like, thanks, King, I didn't want it. The last 200 to 100 pages, I guess, just the last part where they go into the sewers and it's the final showdown with it. It was really confusing, to be honest. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on, but it was a lot of them just kind of staring at it, and then it also went back and forth. You know, it was very fast of between when they were kids to when they were adults, and also in the void when Bill and then Richie, I guess, are in their mind talking to it and its true form, and the turtle, which I still don't know what it is. It felt like I have more questions, honestly. I knew it wasn't going to be a physical man. I knew it wasn't going to be a physical being. I knew it had something supernatural to it. I didn't know how it was going to be, but it feels sort of unsatisfying because it was a lot of, oh, it's in your mind, you just have to believe, or, you know, don't be afraid of it. And then it, you know, it explodes or whatever because they stared at it so hard. And I wanted more, like, I don't know, I wanted more of a showdown, I guess, between all of them. But it just felt like a lot of Bill and Richie doing things and the other people were just kind of chilling. Mike got the short end of the stick super hard. Mike, I feel like Mike wasn't even really a part of them, and that's really sad. Same with Stan. Mike and Stan, they didn't really feel like they were in the group. But yeah, the last showdown, really confusing to me. It was a lot of just mind stuff, and they were like flying towards a wall, and then he was going backwards, and the turtle was there, and so it was it and the turtle at the beginning of time, or the turtle threw up the world, the universe, and that's how life came to be. And then the turtle fainted in its shell, and they were flying by the turtle, and they were talking to the turtle, and the turtle is good and wise and great. Also kind of cool when he was talking. He's like, hell yeah, man, you gotta just, he was very chill and cool. I liked the turtle. And then there was the other, which I guess was over it and the turtle. It was just a lot of like, it felt just, oh, it's all in your head, you just have to believe. It's like your mind and the power of being a kid and stuff like that. And I don't know, it felt almost like a cop-out. Not really a cop-out, it just was like, I wanted there to be a fight, I guess, and I know there was, but it didn't feel like a fair fight in a way, with like everyone contributing to this thing, and their whole thing was like, oh, we have to stick together. But I don't know, it was very good, don't get me wrong, I loved the story, but that final part, it was a little underwhelming to me. I am so sad that Eddie dies. I didn't know they were gonna die. I didn't know anyone was gonna die. That was not, it didn't cross my mind at all. It came out of nowhere for me. I didn't realize I was so attached to them until it happened. Oh. Also, I wished we had seen what had happened to Henry and Belch and Victor in the sewers, because with Henry as an adult and his flashbacks, you know, we know that Victor got decapitated, one of them got decapitated. They were killed by it in the sewers. And so when we're following the gang, the Losers Club, through the sewers, you know, to find it, and we hear Henry chasing after them, I thought there was going to be like a big final showdown with like the losers and it and Henry and all them, and we were going to see what happened to them. But it was just like Henry yelling after them, and then we assume that they died, I guess, in the back. We don't know, because we didn't get to see it. We know that it killed them, but like, I don't know how did Henry get out of there? How did the other people die? Also, Tom felt, I don't know. It felt kind of like a loose, not even a loose thread, because we know it was resolved. Like, we saw him, you know, it took over him, and you know, he was in the sewers and stuff like that, but it felt unnecessary. I liked the idea of Henry and Tom coming after them. So they got it to worry about, they got Henry, and they got Tom. But Tom at least felt that he just came and then that was it, and then he died. And I don't even remember if Beverly even knew he was there. So it's something the reader knew, like, oh no, like, but Beverly didn't even know. So it was like, there felt like no stakes, because, oh, Tom's chasing after her and then he dies. There was no real final showdown, and it felt very unsatisfying. Man, I guess I have a lot more issues with this book than I thought. I really liked the ending in regard to the nostalgia and, you know, oh God, they're forgetting each other. That's the biggest thing that gets me, is like, they're gonna forget it all happened, and they're not even gonna remember each other and their strong friendship, and like all the sweet stuff about like, I love you guys, like, I loved how they weren't afraid to say I love you, not in a creepy way, but just like their friendship was so strong, and I felt that, and that felt so nice. And now they're forgetting it, so it's like bittersweet, and I really like that. Low-key didn't like how it ended with Audra and him, you know, using Silver and taking her on the bike to like wake her up from her catatonic state that she was in from it. Because like, we weren't really connected to Audra. Like, okay, yes, it's his wife, but we didn't really, you know, she wasn't there the whole story. Like, we go this whole story with these characters, and you bring her back and expect me to feel something, I guess, for her. So it kind of cheapened it for me at the end, because it was a sweet moment, and I recognize, you know, him using his past, and it's like his final thing with Silver and Derry, and like this town that he grew up in and these memories. But then Audra was here, and I feel like she didn't really fit in there. Also, this is a small thing, I wish I figured out what happened to Mike. Obviously Mike, so at the end, grown-up Mike is in the hospital, and then the nurse comes in who is obviously possessed by it, and he's got the syringe, and he's gonna poison Mike, and then they sent him, the others sent him like all their strength, their power, and then Mike gets a surge of this power and this feeling, and he throws Mark aside, the nurse. And then the chapter ends, and then the next time we see him, he's just like chilling in the hospital. I'm like, what happened? Was there a fight? You just threw him to the side and then that was it? I really liked that Ben and Beverly kind of ended up together at the end. I've said it before, I didn't care much for Bill and Beverly. There's so many B names, oh my goodness. I will say, watched the movie last night. Definitely liked them more in the movie. Dude, those actors for the movie, so good. Okay, let me make sure I said everything about the book. I don't have any notes. I'm just kind of talking right now. I'm just laying it all out there. So in general, I feel like there were some unresolved threads. Ending was a little unsatisfying for me. The plot and the story and the characters and the detail, I guess, brought it home for me. You know, I can deal with that, and it makes the ending a little bit better just because I have all the other stuff. Some things that I wish were talked about more or explained. I feel like he could have used less detail in some parts and maybe put it somewhere else to explain other things. The movie, watched it, the first one, the new one, last night. I must have been incredibly anxious to begin with when I first watched the movie in the theater. Also, though, I don't like watching scary movies in the theater because it's big and it's right there and it's loud. I was so scared at the movie theater. I was anxious. I was really anxious. And I watched it last night and it was not really scary. So I don't really know what was going on with me 3 years ago when I saw that. They changed a lot from the book. They just straight up changed things. And I get, you know, trying to fit this huge book into a movie without compromising too much, but like they changed details that did not need to be changed. In the movie, Mike's parents are dead. They died in a fire. Why did they have to put that in there? Because in the book, Mike's parents are like the only good parents. And like they changed all their experiences with it, like before they tell each other, like the big bird wasn't in there. I was really excited about, you know, seeing Mike in the bird stand, using his bird book and stuff. I guess reading this first and having all this detail and characterization, the movie felt a little empty, but just as a base movie, I enjoyed it. It was fun, it was good. Also in the movie, why did they make everyone like super old? Henry and his friends were driving cars. I'm like, you're supposed to be 11. Also the clubhouse wasn't in the movie. And I was like when they did the smoke vision thing, I think Gavin said that's in the second movie, so I guess we'll see. I think the second movie also has parts of when they were kids, which I didn't know about. I thought it was just when they were adults. We're gonna watch the second one tonight, so we'll see how that goes. How do you feel?
I feel good. I like that movie. How do you feel?
I didn't know it was gonna be so gay and so sad. I see now why everyone was shipping them. I finished the book and I was like, huh, okay, I mean, I guess I can see it, but I mean, it wasn't super gay. But thank God for Bill Hader, because that was everything I needed. I get it now.
Oh my God.
I get it now.
Okay, let's end this recording. This is like a fever dream at this point. It's just you not saying anything and going.
Anyway, send me all your ready fix and fan art. I liked it. It was a nice coming of age story. I loved, you know, the nostalgia of being a kid and those very kid-like problems and that innocence, which was then ruined at the end in the very unnecessary scene. Okay, I'm talking so much. This was it. This was reading it. I had a fun time. I really did. And I know it probably sounds kind of negative. I just had a few issues with the end. But overall, I loved the details and the characters. I really did. This was it. This was Reading It by Stephen King. I had a fun time. I hope y'all had a fun time watching me have a fun time. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about this book. So I'm gonna end it here because I'm gonna just keep talking. Comment down below if you have read it and what your thoughts on it are and how you liked it, because I'm very curious, because I feel like I've heard different things about people reading this book. But yeah, so I'm curious. Let me know. That's all I've got though. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna see y'all in my next video.